Welcome back to the world according to Briggs. I am Briggs, and let's talk about everyone's favorite subject, states that suck. Do you live in a state that sucks? Do you live in a state that's considered subpar, backwards, or just plain dysfunctional? Well, if you're not sure, keep watching. Your state's probably on the list. What defines the worst state to live in? Is it the high crime rate? Is it the high poverty rate, lack of jobs, high taxes, or something else? In a lot of ways, a bad state is an opinion derived from your preferences. Some people might consider a state without big cities and like a really low population the worst state to live in. They might consider it boring. Others may classify states densely populated and high cost of living the worst. As you can see, there's more than one way to judge a state. Some organizations and publications have created their list based on various factors that give an overview of the worst states in the US. For example, the US government has a couple departments that do it, the US News ranks them, and a few other places. When someone's doing a best or worst state ranking, they look at factors like education, healthcare, economy, opportunity, quality of life, infrastructure, and public safety. These reports give weight to certain elements over others based on what matters most to the citizen. On this list, we will be going by the healthcare, education, economy, and crime rankings. Each category can be ranked first, as in the best, all the way to 50th, as in you suck like a black hole. You add up their rankings and you rank them overall in suckage. So let's see who sucks the most in 2020, starting with the state of Number 10, Kentucky. Kentucky was part of Virginia and then it became its own territory. Rumor has it, Virginia was okay with letting these people go. 2 days after the breakup was the first time anyone was ever heard chanting, "Build that wall." Virginia never got the wall, and Kentucky became the 15th state to join the Union in 1792. It has grown to become the 26th largest state in terms of population, with an estimated 4.5 million people. That's 4.5 million residents that live in a state with some of the worst health care this country has to offer. I also question their mental health. Have you ever seen the hats they wear at the Kentucky Derby? They wear hats that Willy Wonka would think look ridiculous. Kentucky is ranked 44th in healthcare. They say modern medicine is transitioning to focus more on preventative healthcare and health education. Looks like they have an uphill battle teaching these people anything. Kentucky schools really don't cut it. They are ranked 39th in education. Their economy sucks too. It is ranked 38th. They do okay in crime, which helped their ranking. They came in 11th. All those numbers together rank Kentucky number 41. Number 9, South Carolina. In 1790, the population of South Carolina stood at an already healthy level of just under 250,000 residents. 10 years later, in 1800, they had risen up just under 40% with 345,000 residents. For a state that didn't have a New York City in it, those are some solid numbers. At the time, South Carolina was a very desirable place to live. These days, if you step outside of Charleston and look around for a bit, you'll say to yourself, I bet this place sucks at a lot of stuff. The thing is, you'd be wrong in assuming that. They suck at most stuff, after beaches in Charleston. South Carolina ranked 46th in crime and 43 in education. Almost the bottom of the barrel in those. Healthcare was ranked middle of the road at 33, and the economy is the only thing keeping them from dropping a bunch of other spots. South Carolina is ranked 16th. That's respectable. Overall, they're ranked 42nd out of 50. Number 8, Oklahoma. Oklahoma was acquired as part of the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. It soon became an area of settlement for various Indian tribes displaced from states further east and was known as the Indian Territory. On November 16, 1907, it was admitted into the Union as the state of Oklahoma. Some years later, they looked around and decided Texas stole some of their land at the western boundary. They went through the whole court thing, and the case was settled in Texas's favor by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1930. And I'm sure those towns that were almost rolled into Oklahoma are breathing a sigh of relief right now. Oklahoma's healthcare is ranked 47th, and they come in 41st in crime. So if you get assaulted at a cowboy bar for wearing a small belt buckle, you might be in bad shape, because their hospitals might suck. The economy is ranked 34th, and education is 39th. Not good. Number 7, Alaska. Alaska is big and it doesn't have many people. They have towns that are so far out in the sticks that some of them have more people than teeth. In 2020, the estimated population for the entire state of Alaska is 734,000 people. The last nationwide census in the United States was carried out in 2010 when the population of the frontier state was 710,000 people. That means they still have a giant state with very few people. That also means they have very few people complaining about their healthcare that really sucks. Alaska ranks 47th in healthcare, and when it comes to the crime rate, they did a little bit better, coming in at 41st. Their education is ranked 39th, and the economy is ranked 34th out of 50. Number 6. Arkansas. Ah yes, Arkansas. The natural state has been showing up on suckage videos more and more in the last 3 years. Arkansas has been going downhill for some time. Now I really should say they've always been going downhill. They've just picked up speed. Healthcare to them isn't much more than spitting whiskey on a cut and then wrapping it with moss from the crick. They have great doctors. The problem is they don't stay that long and they don't have many hospitals to put the ones that are. It's weird. Arkansas is ranked 49th in healthcare and 47th in crime. Those should be enough for you to cancel the appointment with that realtor. If not, listen to this. The natural state is 42nd in education and 43rd in economy. So you won't get the best education there. And if you do graduate, you're probably not going to be able to find a good job, especially in healthcare. That might be bad. Number 5. New Mexico. The land of enchantment should really look into changing its name to the state of depression. They have very few nice places to live in this state, like fewer than most states. New Mexico has been in bad shape since as far back as I can remember. I know a girl that lived in Farmington, New Mexico. That place sucks. The day after her 18th birthday, she told her mom she wasn't living in New Mexico any longer. Her mom said, "You don't have a car, you don't have money, what are you going to do?" She went down to the local truck stop, found the first female driver she could find, and asked for a ride. The lady asked where she was going, and she said simply, "Out of New Mexico." The truck driver said, "I'm going to the Nike factory in Oregon." That was 17 or 18 years ago. About 3 days after she got to Portland, she started working for Nike. She still works at Nike. New Mexico is ranked 49th in both crime and education and 47th in the economy. 49th. Crime and education. Doing great. The only good news is you might survive it when you get run over in a crosswalk by an uninsured driver. They rank 30th in healthcare. Number 4, West Virginia. As much as I hate seeing this one and talking about how much West Virginia sucks, I guess I have to. But to be fair, 3 years ago, they were the worst, and in most categories by a big margin. The cities are nice and the people are amazing. What brings this state down is the decline of the coal industry. I read one report that said in 1950, West Virginia had about 160,000 coal miners. In 2018, it was under 20,000. I did see another report that said it was closer to 30,000 with support jobs and all, but I don't know, it's really low. West Virginia is also still recovering from the opioid crisis, which really took a toll on this state. Did a lot of damage. As I said, the cities are nice, like the areas around Charleston, Huntington, and Morgantown. But when you get into the woods, it becomes the towns that time and reading forgot. West Virginia is ranked 50th in the economy and 48th in healthcare. The education is a little bit better at 44, but as proof to the decency of these people, they rank 19th in crime. With those other stats being what they are, they should have a horrible crime rate. Especially you look at their unemployment rate, my God, they should be robbing people just to get by. But they're not. 19th is respectable, especially when you see how bad the other stats are. So they're number 4, but bravo, West Virginia. Number 3, Mississippi. Oh my God, these guys again. I'm starting to feel bad at this point. I would like to point out that they aren't the worst, so let's be positive. For the Magnolia State, this is a win. Think about that. When it is considered a win because you're ranked 3rd from the bottom out of 50. But it shouldn't be any surprise to anyone because they've been this way since, 1865. The healthcare ranked 50th in Mississippi, the economy is 48, and crime is 46. That's a trifecta of suck, if you ask me. Now, they did do okay in education. Their education ranking and their education programs in general are pretty good. They came in 26th. They're middle of the road with 3 other things that are major downers. That's a plus right there. Good job, Mississippi. Maybe you'll be out of the hole in a couple more decades. Keep teaching your kids right. Number 2, Alabama. Hey, look, it's Mississippi's neighbor, Alabama. The Yellowhammer State, like so many other states in this part of the country, is on a downward trajectory, and it has been for decades. Considering they rank 50th in education, we'll give them a second to Google trajectory so they know what we're talking about. While they do that, we'll just watch this extremely lonely panda man. Okay, moving on. Alabama was ranked 46th in healthcare and 45th in both crime and economy. There's not a lot good going on here. Obviously, they're second from the bottom. This is another state that's been in this situation forever, and I don't get why they don't get any better. After so many years of being in this kind of situation, you think they'd work towards getting it better. It's weird. And number 1, Louisiana. Hey, how about that? It's Mississippi's other neighbor, the Pelican State. Situated in the deep south, Louisiana is known mostly for the history and culture of its largest city, New Orleans. I know most of the cities in Louisiana because that's kind of what I do. I study the United States. But if you go anywhere else in the country outside the South, most people will have a hard time giving you anything past New Orleans. They don't know anything about the rest of the state. I watched this thing about Hurricane Katrina, and this man said that after the hurricane, he watched the floodwaters wash out to the Gulf, taking everyone's stuff with them. And he said things like their dreams, their hopes, their couches. And he said it didn't take any of the stuff that people wanted washed out, like all the lawyers and politicians from New Orleans. I thought that was great. The guy was saying that and he's like in knee-deep water still. Hurricane Katrina destroyed large portions of this state, mostly New Orleans. And the state still hasn't recovered completely. They still haven't abandoned Six Flags in New Orleans. But the state, other than the hurricane and everything else, they've just always been in bad shape. Let's take a look at the rankings. They're bad. They came in 50th in crime, 49th in economy, 48th in education. The only thing that they had their big shining spot was healthcare. It came in 45th. How bad is that when 5 from the bottom is the best you could do? That's horrible. Louisiana is the worst state to move to in 2020. Alright, so I hope you guys liked the video. I hope you got some information out of it. Hope it makes sense to you. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, why don't you give it a big thumbs up? If you like what I do in this channel, please subscribe. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought. Everybody have a great day. Be nice to each other.